Wicked Witches. So today is completely different to yesterday, and that's part of the process. That's part of trusting yourself and going with the flow, just being, as the card said yesterday. And today the card I pulled was accept. My tip for today is know the SHEscape. So this is a term that Lisa Lister uses. It means like following your cycles and the cycles of the planets to know what's in your favour and what you're working with, basically. So obviously this is going to be different every time you start to work. Ideally, I would start creating on the dark moon, where you just go in and let yourself die, let yourself stop, receive, and like you're going to begin the creative process in a bit like the day I had a couple of days ago where I just let myself stop and just watch telly and chill, and I cleaned and I just kind of got stuff ready. So I was prepared for beginning the creative process. Then as the moon begins to wax, which is the virgin phase, where you're just testosterone and you're like, I can go to the gym and I can roller skate and all the stuff that you see in the adverts for when you're bleeding, which is nonsense. That's exactly not what you feel like doing. You do feel like doing it in the waxing moon phase. So you're, it's fresh moon energy. Everything's kind of like, oh yeah, I've got ideas. And then you build it all up to full moon, which is when the estrogen kicks into your body. And that would be when you would ovulate. And then you're like full realization. And then from the full moon, you then go into the waning moon. And that's like time to kind of evaluate and kind of look at what you've done. And that would be, because ovulation is obviously mother. And then from that, you go into wise woman. And then you go into the death crone when you come back to the dark moon. So if I was going to run a writing course or like create when I set up these 2 weeks, I set it up so that I would be writing with the new moon up to the full moon. The full moon is today. But because things got messed around and I'm accepting and that's fine and I'm just being with the situation. Actually, what I've realised is my menstrual cycle is completely the other way around at the moment. And what's interesting about that is, so the reason why we used to, before electric lights, generally ovulate with the full moon is because we could see each other. It helps with having sex. So there's a correlation between fertility and light exposure, which has kind of been messed up now because we've got electric lights. But back 100 years ago, so not very long, we didn't have electric lights. The full moon, we'd all be out having a great time partying, having loads of sex. And then the dark moon, we didn't, the women would bleed. So this is something that Lisa Lister's taught me, is that when you bleed with the different moon phases, it teaches you something about what you're being called to do. So if you're bleeding with the dark moon, then that's good. You're being asked to go in, honour yourself, honour your body and allow yourself to die. If you're bleeding with the full moon, you're being asked to share your medicine with the world. So I haven't started bleeding yet, but I can feel that it's literally about to start. It might end up, sometimes this happens, I have like these sort of false starts where I have a day with no energy and then I don't start bleeding for like a couple of days and it's really annoying. But I thought I was starting bleeding today. I've got the low energy day today. So I didn't go for a bike ride. I haven't done yoga. I'm staying in my pajamas and I'm working from bed. And I have what I call a red tent day, even though I haven't started bleeding yet. But often if I have the low energy day now, then the day that I actually start bleeding, I sometimes feel okay. So I'm just going with the flow with whatever I feel. But I got this for Christmas for my mummy, which I asked for on purpose so that I have a red tent blanket. In my last house, I had a bed with bars that I could put a red sheet up and over. So I used to have a red sheet that I'd put over me and I'd get underneath it like a clubhouse. And I'd let myself be in there and I'll burn oils and have a journal and switch off the internet and things like that. I don't have that here, but I have got my red blanket. So I'm having a day with my red blanket, snuggling up in bed, staying in my pajamas, and I'm going to write here today. And so although moon-wise, my writing practice is not fitting with the cycle, it is fitting in terms of my menstrual cycle. So I'm accepting and just being with the fact that I'm being a bit slow to start. I'm letting myself die. and I'm being there for everyone to do the full moon ceremony. I'm actually really looking forward to Imbolc, because I was really sad that I'm not going to be with people, because I celebrate the moon ceremonies with people online, and then I also do a physical ceremony with people that's kind of more open to anyone. But I do the Sabbats, so Imbolc and the solstices, with my coven, and I feel like that's that's what we do together. And I'm on an island with two of my coven, and I can't be with them, so that's annoying. However, I've got a fire pit outside, and I've asked people to send me poems, and so I'm going to sit and have a fire, and I'm going to read the poems out to the land, and just have a night of celebrating and worshipping Mother Earth coming back, and Bridget, who's one of my favourite goddesses. Just have a night of celebration for the returning of the light and the beginning of spring. It's my favourite time, and I love this very delicate beginning of spring time. I love it. So I'm gonna do that on my own. It's fine. I'll just sit outside and have a fire. Looking forward to it. So I feel like the Imbolc energy and the beginning of the new moon energy in my own period cycle will get me going next week. So I'm trusting it, and I am doing some writing. It's slow progress. So that's all fine. So yeah, also as of Saturday, we're going to Mercury retrograde, and retrogrades are really bad for communication. So you have to double check all your emails and maybe not sign contracts, and just be careful about, people are going to get stressy with you. Just be calm and know that it's Mercury retrograde and it's not you. It's just everything's kind of gone the wrong way around. But what it's really good for is anything that's like revisiting, remembering, reevaluating, reestablishing, anything that is like revisiting something that you've already begun. And this project I've already begun. So as of Saturday, this actually, the SHEscape is actually supporting what I'm doing. And as of Saturday, or whenever I start bleeding, I will be beginning this new cycle. So actually I've got, and it's Imbolc on Monday, which is the beginning of spring. And so that's like the beginning of a crescent moon as well. So I feel like I'm allowed a few days to just be a bit and a little bit, and that's fine. And then I'll follow the SHEscape to grow over the next week, and then reach my own ovulation, which will be with the dark moon. Yeah, that will be my writing fortnight. So knowing the SHEscape helps. It just helps with like forgiving yourself for wherever you're at, and knowing what's on your side, whether you believe in it or not. I don't believe in anything. It's not like I think Mr. Jupiter's up there like organising anything or doing anything, or like Mercury's like, oh, I'm gonna fuck with your email. Who cares? I literally don't care. But it's just some stuff, some archetypal stuff that we've been knocking around chatting about for thousands of years, and it helps in the creative process. Anything that helps, use it. So yeah, it doesn't matter whether it's true or not. Nothing's true. You're writing fiction. Who gives a flying fart about truth? So there you go, except for like divine beauty, which is the real truth, and that's what we're working for. So that's my tip for today. Working with the SHEscape, your own and the cosmic one.